I wanted to find this opportunity just to talk for a few minutes, especially because of the fact that I was able to mention on YouTube this morning in my video, can the Bayonne flyer become faster? I've actually forgot the title of it. I'll look it up on YouTube later. You'll probably clarify in the comments for everyone that's watching this on YouTube podcasts or listening to it on YouTube Music, or even those of you that are my Patreon patrons. But basically, I wanted to go into further detail with regards to the project that I am currently working on. Well, of course, a lot of the projects, of course, center around my book series, Raymond Waters' Imagination. Now, altogether so far, I was able to create the first few books in the series. If the echo sounds weird, I actually had to change locations just now. But basically, I was able to complete Project Telescope a while back and everything, which is the next one in the series. And basically, right now, the call signs for the other ones are being completed as we speak. One project that I was able to complete the rough draft for more recently is the idea for a fully automated resort, where instead of having a company town, whether within a special district or a privatized community, this would be the first resort that would have no human employees whatsoever, and basically everything would be controlled and operated by AI, which would include the 4 theme parks and other features that will be centered around it, which includes a fully automated high-speed rail system, as well as a fully automated budget airline that would be included as well. So now we have my latest project and everything. I'm not going to disclose it fully I'm not going to fully disclose it right now, especially because of the fact that I don't want this information to fully leak onto the main content and everything. For those of y'all that are listening to this podcast on YouTube Music or whatever. But basically, the idea that I'm going with for right now, I might as well say it because, y'all already know about Project Inhaler, which is my idea for an imagination-based theme park for adults. What I was able to complete after that is a fully automated resort. Now I'm working on another one. And it kind of centers around what I was talking about on how the Bayonne flyer can be faster, because every time I go to visit friends in Jersey City, I often drive to the light rail station because, nothing against the 89 bus, but honestly, the 89 bus has its ups and downs at times. So I might as well just drive to the nearest light rail station with available parking at 22nd Street. You pay $3 for parking and then just simply take the light rail to the path and then so on and so forth. But I said all that to say that as much as I don't mind taking the Bayonne flyer, I am frankly not a big fan of skip stop service. Now, am I saying that New Jersey Transit is bad for adding skip stop? No. Honestly, to me, okay, granted, I haven't really taken any other service for New Jersey Transit as of yet, but to me, the best service is, and I'm sure others may agree with me, is the Hudson Bergen Light Rail, or just their light rails in general and everything. There's of course that one video I caught at Newark Penn Station with the Newark Light Rail, and about 10 years ago, we went to what was formerly called the Sun National Bank Center in Trenton. And, I had mixed feelings when I initially saw the Riverline Light Rail, only until I was able to see a recent video from the YouTuber Trains Are Awesome, where I think it was he and I believe his wife were able to see the trains in the area to go with a cheaper option as opposed to taking a more expensive form of public transportation. But I said all that to say that I admire the effort into making an somewhat idealized service and everything. In fact, I honestly believe what many transit advocates believe, that light rails and tramways are superior to that of buses. In fact, they are absolutely correct. The reason why I put so much emphasis in bus rapid transit in my first book is because of the fact that, especially here in North America, bus rapid transit is frankly buses altogether are just treated badly. Like they basically get stuck in the same amount of traffic. In many areas, the buses run late. The drivers, unfortunately, bus operators, and I can even say this as I work for Via Jersey City, we get treated like garbage on the road. We get treated like garbage from some drivers or pedestrians that at times can prove to be very incompetent at the moment, either out of habit or in some cases, and I've been driving for 10 years, so I could say this. I've had my driver's license for 10 years as of this year. I can say this, there are some that will just purposely do whatever just to aggravate you for absolutely no reason and everything. And, it's unfortunate and everything because of the world we live in, but, it happens and stuff. Like I can't even count some of the things that I encountered with the past 2 years I've been working for Via Jersey City and stuff. Like somewhere, I'm not even mad. I just frankly want to understand the logic. But I said all that to say that taking the Bayonne Flyer, sorry to go off on a tangent, it's okay with the fact that from where I normally take it, from 22nd Street to Exchange Place, it shaves off about 3 minutes of travel time, which is okay, I believe. But the thing is, I often think about the ones that are at the local stops that have to wait longer for a train. And to me, it's not really all that much of an effective express service, especially with the fact that unlike a normal express service you would have especially with the New York City subway, you don't have express trains bypassing the local trains. It's just skipping a few stops and everything. So of course this led to the question, how can you have a more effective tramway service that would have an express service but at the same time can be able to bypass local trains? And basically, we're all running to the conclusion that we need to remove humans from the equation. Now, I have nothing against human-based train operators. I have a friend of mine that is an operator for the Staten Island Railway who got married recently. My dad was a locomotive engineer for the Long Island Railroad for over 30 years before he retired in late 2022. And, I have friends that are like train operators, locomotive engineers, and so on and so forth. So I'm not saying that it's necessarily bad in itself and everything. And I also don't believe that should there be like a fully automated system, that we should fully remove competent individuals that could be able to operate trains from the equation. Because the reality is that man-made based equipment could basically falter over time. So what I would propose is basically the idea of not just a fully automated tramway service, but also one that would use artificially intelligent train control. What I call artificially intelligent train control, which is what I would call the next step beyond communication-based train control. Now, it's something that services like the Hudson Bergen Light Rail, like the New York City Subway and others are starting to implement, where basically you don't have to wait too long for the next train, which is highly commendable. It's highly commendable, especially with the fact that we don't have to wait too long for the next train, at least during rush hour. I can't say the same during off-peak hours. Like last week, for instance, on Monday, I got off work and basically I was able to make some changes. I was able to make some changes with regards to, I had to make some changes because all of a sudden I basically got called in. I got called to go to work on Monday, but afterwards I was able to take the light rail and path. Now, regarding the Newark bound train, like there was not that many operating at the time that I was running, so basically what I had to do, I had to take the Hoboken bound train, one stop up to Newport, and then transfer over to the Journal Square bound train, and I was able to get there on time. But basically, like it led to a slight disadvantage and everything, especially where I almost didn't catch the Journal Square bound train, right, for other reasons and stuff. But I had to basically make lemonade out of lemons as best as possible. So one thing I want to say is that, communication-based train control does has its advantage. But I would argue that with still having human-based operators and everything, having things that are manually operated as opposed to being controlled by a computer, it has the disadvantage of basically with the fact that it could not only be able to control like where trains could be within each block, but also have the ability to be able to optimize based on changing circumstances. Like one thing I would propose is something similar to what I tried with the bus rapid transit system in Imagination, that of Crayon Metro. Basically, like let's say there's a local C line bus that is at a stop and everything, and the A Express comes around to bypass it. I would try something similar to that with the tramway that I have in my latest project. My latest project will again be another fully automated resort, or it may change to some degree. We don't know yet. A lot of things are pending as we speak. And basically, I said all that to say that the main idea that I want to propose is basically for each of the stops, for each of the train stops, the idea is to basically have switchers on both ends of each stop, so that way, in some cases, you could have a more idealized express system with two tracks, where basically like a local train is at one stop in particular, and it may wait a little bit longer, so that way the express train could basically switch to another track, bypass the station, and then go back onto the other track. And of course, this is something that would especially work with artificially intelligent train control, which is something that is that would definitely be different as opposed to the normal train control that we're having, like positive train control, which is in many ways something that should have been around for a long time. Am I in favor of high-speed rail? Absolutely. Like, I'm happy that you have services like Brightline and others that are really paving the way. And, props to Amtrak for having the Acela Express for the last few years. But, like we need to have other types of systems. And what especially helps in places like Europe or wherever is that there are more privatized high-speed rail systems that are out there in Europe, in Japan, and elsewhere and stuff. Of like, there's not so much government owned and everything. Nothing against Amtrak, especially because of the fact that, let's face it, Train Daddy Andy Byford is there. Like we miss him here. We miss him. We New Yorkers miss him and stuff, only because of the fact that like during his tenure, he did a really good job as the transit president and everything. I'm not saying that the others were incompetent. Like, in all fairness, with Sarah Feinberg, she came in when COVID just started and everything, and like there were certain things that were unavoidable and everything, and you know, transit presidents that have since come afterwards, like we don't know, like a lot of circumstances that are just happening worldwide was inevitable to come towards New York City. So I am not blaming them and everything, and I don't want this to get political and stuff, but you know, there are certain things that are frankly unavoidable. And you know, it's just a lot of things to be able to work out with artificially intelligent train control, or AICT or AITC as I would call it and stuff. But I believe it's something that would be able to probably be like the next step in helping a more effective service that would result in one minimal infrastructure required with regards to making sure that everything would run properly, number one. And number two, so that way you can have as many express trains as you want, but at the same time have a local service that would still be frequent and would be able to make as many stops as possible in a way where you could still be able to go from point A to point B in a reliable way possible. And one thing I must say is that it's nothing against gadget bonds like the monorail in particular, but this will work on a more conventional rail-based structure. Nothing against monorails and nothing against rubber tire trams. I got monorails in one or two resorts of mine in a pending project. And I even have a rubber tire tramway system in another one, because we like to experiment. Now, of course, I'm not saying that I want to have just gadget bonds everywhere, because the reality is gadget bonds get a bad rep. Like, honestly, like I would compare gadget bonds almost with the Bible, like being well-meaning, but at the same time, there are a few people that just frankly mucked it up for everyone to a point where many are discouraged from having a gadget bond-based system. And not to mention, like the thing that irks me the most is that there are too many airports out there that use gadget bonds. Now, there are some good ones. There are some good gadget bonds out there, but also there are ones that are just so bad it ain't funny and everything. And mind you, they still have this particular infrastructure for a long time. There's no new equipment, and there's always talks about like getting rid of them in particular and stuff. So, you know, honestly, like let's say I started a rail manufacturing business, almost like CRRC, Bombardier, Kinky Chariot, and others. I frankly don't want to sell anything to an airport, only because of the fact that, nothing against airports, but unfortunately there are too many airports out there that just has the worst gadget bonds imaginable, that gives it such a bad rep that, you know, and I feel bad for the airports that have good gadget bonds and stuff, but I say all that to say, AITC would definitely work with a conventional rail system, and for now it would just be best to start it with a light rail system. But that's all I really wanted to talk about. What are your thoughts on this? For those of y'all that are watching this on YouTube or listening to this on YouTube Music, again, also towards my Patreon patrons, but either way, you're welcome to like, share, and subscribe, and you're also welcome to follow me on Twitter and on Instagram on my, frankly, 3 Instagram pages, DJ__projects, DJ__transit and _ art gallery. And also, you're also welcome to keep up to date, with whatever I write next on Amazon. Basically, about 2 months ago, I was able to publish a new essay called "Reunifying Korea," and I have a few other pieces of writing that I'm working on as well. Next year, there is going to be another new book in my Raymond Waters Imagination series. I will make the announcement later on this year as to the title of it and when it will be released. But you'll be able to see everything as soon as possible.